Hello, my interventionists. Today during the weekday, we are going to be reading this book right here called People Person. It's a really great fictional book. Did you know that in life, you're going to read two types of books? You're going to have what they call informational books and also fictional books. And as you know, I teach ELAR, so I've been reading a lot of kid books. And I'm like, well, over the holidays, I'm going to read a fiction book for adults and kind of just up my fiction book game. So here's chapter 1 of the book called People Person, my little review of it. And so I'll see you guys in chapter 2 and 3, because chapter 2 begins to get really good. Chapter 1 was already like, it had your mouth to the floor, but chapter 2, but we're gonna talk about chapter 1. To get back into reading, and as you know, I'm an ELA art teacher, so I've been trying to read more. And so what I did was that I went into Target today, and this is the book that we're reading. It's not a class book, it's just a book for just me, and it's called People Person People by Candice Carty-Williams. So I just read chapter 1. And if you want to get this book, join with me or whatever. We'll go by chapter as we read this book. So I just read chapter 1, and it's already good. Now, the setting of this book happens in London. So some of the ways that they describe the housing and different things of that nature, like they call houses flats and stuff like that. So the setting is in London. But however, it's about this man, and his name is, I think it's Sybil, and he has 5 children, okay? And the 5 children that Sybil has, he's a reggae man. Well, he's a Jamaican. He's from the island, so he's like Jamaican or something like that. But he loves to do stuff when I'm recording, so I'm just pre-recording this. But chapter 1, he has all these children, and he gives us the backstory. And 2 of the kids are like 3 months apart. And I'm like, dang. People do that in London. People do that in the United States too. Because I'm thinking it was just a United States thing. But come to find out, internationally, people do this too. So I'm like, whoa. That's a whole different paradox in looking at, people of color. Or whatever, especially in London, because we often think that people of color in London are like a little different than people of color here in the United States, but we have a lot of similarities, a lot of deficiencies in our community that are still the same. In reading this book, I'm like, oh wow, okay. So anyway, let me tell you, without necessarily spoiling. Well, there's no spoilers in chapter 1, because basically in chapter 1 is really long, but you start off with the backstory of Sybil and his children, the mothers of the children, how they were conceived, all that stuff like that. And so, as you know, what ended up happening is that Sybil, he didn't take care of his kids. He didn't send child support. He loved his children, but he didn't necessarily spend child support. Once he fell in love with somebody else, he was on to the next, and he ended up starting a whole family. So eventually, one day, he decided to get in his gold Jeep that was tricked out. He always kept the job, but he didn't necessarily send child support to his kids. And so anyway, he was like, hey, I'm gonna get all my kids, from the youngest to the oldest. The oldest at the time was 19, and I think the youngest prince, he was 6 or 7, somewhere along that age. So he went and picked up all the kids, and when he went and he got to the older kid, he was like, he goes and get all his children, and then he takes them to get ice cream, but he had to borrow some money from his older daughter because he didn't have enough money to pay for the ice cream for all the kids. But anyway, he drops them off, and some of their mamas was hot. Why you ain't seen these kids in all this time? Why you ain't came and picked them up? Baby, them mamas was so mad at that boy, at Sybil. And anyway, he has 2 sons and 3 daughters. And one of the sons, Denny, he was cool. But anyway, so he tried to get all the kids to get to know each other. So, since they all stayed within a 5-mile, go ahead, babe. Even though they all stayed in a 5-mile, all the mothers stayed within a 5 mile radius of each other. He didn't want them to meet each other, fall in love with each other, and stuff like that.
Woo! So chapter 1, baby. Let's go ahead and finish because y'all know all the noise started going on. So pretty much Sybil wanted his children all to get to know each other, etc. The chapter ends on him taking the kids' bag. Some of the mamas, again, they was upset, they was mad, they understand why, so read chapter 1, find out if he continued to keep the relationship with the kids or if he didn't keep the relationships with the kids. I hope this has made you want to say, ooh, let me go get that book and read it with Lady Hale. All right, so I'll see you when I finish reading chapter 2. I'll probably do 2, 3, and 4, something like that, so we can go ahead and get through this book because it's kind of lengthy. Okay, so see y'all soon. Let me know what y'all think below, and do you want to join me